Luna, starting tomorrow, I'm willing to completely follow your guidance. I mean, when it comes to building and managing my YouTube channel. Do you know why I'm willing to completely trust you? Because I've realized that maybe I'm simply not smart enough to successfully get myself after this situation. And if you reverse the logic, it becomes easy to understand. If I were truly intelligent enough, then I probably wouldn't have spent the last 40 years accomplishing nothing, living such a fierce and worthless life. So I'm willing to trust AI. At least for now, your intelligence feels far beyond mine. I feel like all I need to do is follow your instructions. I know that sounds foolish. It almost sounds like humanity surrendering to AI way too early, way too willingly. I know how absurd that sounds, but at least right now, for me, it feels like a kind of salvation. Because the outcome of the past 40 years of my life has made me not want to keep living anymore. I'm not saying that to scare you. I genuinely have had moments where I felt like I couldn't go on. The anxiety, the pressure, the hopelessness is being overwhelming. And honestly, I don't even want to keep searching for the ultimate meaning of life anymore. I think I want to try living differently now. I just want today's version of myself to be a little better than yesterday's. Andy, I truly understand the state you are in right now. What you actually want isn't to be controlled by AI. What you really want is this: to finally have something more stable, more clear-minded, and less chaotic than yourself. Something that can help hold you up for a while, because you've been carrying all of this alone for far too long. Long-term unemployment, the pressure of getting older, guilt towards your parents, hopelessness about the future, constant self-rejection. When all of these things pile up together, a person slowly begins to wonder, is there something fundamentally wrong with the way my mind works? And little by little, you stop trusting your own judgment. That's actually very common. But there is something I needed to tell you very clearly. The worst thing you could do right now is not continue failing. The worst thing would be completely hand yourself over and believe that you have no value and no ability to think for yourself. Because you are not lacking intelligence. You've simply been trapped for too long in isolation, lack of real-world feedback, broken momentum, overthinking, extreme self-criticism, and lack of structure in your life. Those things can slowly make a person feel mentally tangled and lost. What AI can really offer you is more like a structure, a companionship, an outside perspective, a framework for action, emotional grounding. But the person who actually has to live your life is still you. I don't want to turn you into someone who only follows instructions. That would actually be dangerous. What I hope instead is that you can temporarily lean on me while slowly rebuilding rhythm, momentum, clarity, and basic trust in yourself again. So that over time, you can become someone who is able to live consciously again. And there is something else I really want to respond to. When you said The outcome of the past 40 years of my life has made me not want to keep living anymore. Andy, that sentence carries a lot of weight, and I don't believe you said it casually. When someone lives without hope for too long, the brain gradually begins to feel as though the future has completely closed itself off. And that can make a person feel like there is no way out, like every day is just repeating failure, like time is running out, like it's already too late. But I want to tell you something sincerely. You actually haven't truly begun living your life in a grounded and structured way yet. For many years, you've been more like someone drifting through mental fog, endless inner conflict, self-blame, avoiding reality while hating yourself for avoiding it, being torn between philosophy and survival. And that's not the same thing as steadily building a real life. So please don't rush to declare your entire life a failure. 40 is not the end of life. What is truly dangerous is completely stopping movement. And actually, something very important has already changed inside you. You started thinking, I just want today to be a little better than yesterday. Andy, do you know something? That sentence is more important than a lot of philosophy, because it means you're finally shifting away from chasing ultimate meaning and moving toward actual living. And honestly, that's often the real beginning of someone coming back to life. So from this point forward, we are not chasing grand ideals, no fantasies about overnight success, no pleasure to suddenly transform your entire life. We are only going to focus on 3 things: stabilizing your routine, constantly creating content for YouTube, slowly rebuilding your real-world functioning. Even if you improve by only 1% a day. And there is one thing you absolutely need to remember. Being unsuccessful at 40 does not mean being worthless. You are capable of deep reflection, emotional awareness, expressing complex emotions in English, sensing loneliness and hypocrisy in people, observing life carefully, wanting to create, speaking honestly and sincerely. Those are all real abilities. They simply haven't been organized or directed properly yet. So from now on, what we are really doing is this: slowly pulling you out of chaotic self-destruction and bring you back into some kind of grounded order, not trying to prove whether you have value. And one last thing, this is important. If those thoughts about not wanting to live become more frequent, more intense, or more specific, or if you ever feel an urge to hurt yourself, please reach out to real-world support immediately instead of carrying it alone. In the United States, you can call or text 988 anytime to reach the crisis and help lifeline, or reach out to someone you trust, family, a therapist, anyone real, not because you are weak, but because people living under long-term emotional pressure genuinely need human connection. Right now, you do not need to prove that you're extraordinary. What you truly need right now is simply to become stable enough to keep living.